As 2019 marks exactly 400 years since the first slave ship left the shores of Africa, Ghana's initiative of introducing the Year of Return has attracted many people from the diaspora to visit the country. This has also been a major campaign to help market Ghana to the rest of the world. The people who have been visiting Ghana have largely been staying in Accra, with some visiting Cape Coast and other historical locations. In the Ashanti region, for instance, the Menchia Palace, the Center for National Culture in Kumasi, the Bonny Tourist Center, and other areas have served as major tourist centers where people visit to learn the culture of the people. Many of these persons in the Ashanti region attended the last Akwesi by the Asante Hene to observe the culture of the people of the Asante Kingdom. For a Nigerian, Donald Opalugu, who teaches history at the Dalton School in New York, he led a group of high school students who are predominantly of African descent to visit key areas in Ghana to connect with the people in the country as part of the Year of Return.
I feel blessed to be a part of this experience. I feel pretty honored to be able to watch as a lot of my students who are of African descent are able to sort of experience an incredible sort of ceremony and festival like this.
The students who spoke to Citi News say they feel disconnected, and as such, the idea of the Year of Return has helped introduce them to a new perspective about themselves.
Like, it all really feels like we're coming together, even though we don't know like most of the people here. And I think that the whole concept of like Year of Return is really cool and significant because I feel like a lot of like people feel disconnected to where they're from. Like, I know I definitely felt really disconnected. So it's cool to come back and kind of get back a piece of your culture almost, and I like regain that. So I think that's really cool.
Like, not only for like African people, but also like African American people. Like, obviously, like my ancestors are from Africa, but it's like I don't really have any idea of like what it's like here. I think being here for the first time ever, and especially being like, because my ancestry traces back to like broadly West African. So I think to be here is just like a really great, experience for me because it's like this is, where I'm from.
As persons who have arrived in Ghana toured different parts of the country to visit mostly cultural and historical sites, some of them have described the feeling as an emotional one.
I think that like I know we're gonna go to like the slave castles, and we also like read Homegoing before we came here, so I feel like it's gonna be like almost like seeing what we've read in real life is gonna be really emotional, especially because like it's different like reading it in a book versus like being in the places where it actually happened, and like I feel like you're almost gonna feel like what those people felt, and you're gonna like be in that environment, which I think is gonna be really emotional.
I'm honestly a bit nervous because I've seen others' videos of when they've gone there, and I've cried every single time. And yesterday we went to Christiansburg, and so we saw some of the dungeons, and one of the poignant things that they mentioned was the slave owners were praying in a chapel above the dungeons, and you could hear the screams downstairs. And even that made me choke up.
The high school students from the Dalton School want measures to be put in place to sustain the idea of the Year of Return so that persons who didn't have the opportunity to visit Ghana can do that in subsequent years. Miles Jefferson is a 16-year-old who joined his colleagues to visit Ghana.
It's great to acknowledge like it's been 400 years, the Year of the Return, it is significant, but you should be able to come, whenever you want, because it's not only that, like there's so much more to it.
This idea has been amplified by Donald Opalugu, who is calling on other African countries to adopt the idea of the Year of Return to make people from the diaspora visit Africa and also invest on the continent. Latoya Welch, who is also visiting Ghana for the first time, wants African leaders to consciously invite people of African descent to learn more about Black people. As she says, Black history is not normally studied extensively outside Africa.
This doesn't have to be the only Year of Return. I think that every year should be a year of return for Africans living in the diaspora. But I think that in many ways this can be a template that other African countries can use to attract Africans in the diaspora to come back to the continent, to get to know the continent, to learn from its cultures, to learn its languages, to enjoy the foods, to establish connections, to invest in the continent.
As an African American, it's important for us to connect to our roots, and I feel like a lot of the times we don't know our history. In the schools in America, they're not teaching us our
With the year of return, the Menhir Palace has been one of the key areas people have been visiting in the Ashanti region. But the question is, how can we sustain this as a country beyond 2019? For Citi News, I'm Edward upon Malfo, Menhir Palace, Kumasi.